Ladies and gentlemen, this is Lions Den with another news and commentary. I have some breaking news from all of the newspapers, from the New York Daily News to the New York Post to even in here in the Tennessean about this case. Now, remember, 26-year-old Michael Reynolds, the NYPD cop, went down to Nashville for a bachelor party and ended up breaking in someone else's home, threatening them from this woman and his kids. Well, guess what happened today? After public pressure, he was resigned from the job as an NYPD officer. That's right. So I'm gonna go ahead and read this. This article comes from the New York Daily News. It says NYPD cop busted in off-duty drunken racist incident in Nashville resigns from the force. And it says that the white off-duty NYPD officer cop busted in Nashville for barging into a black woman's home in a drunken stupor and threatening her and her kids with racial slurs has resigned, the NYPD said Thursday. Officer Michael Reynolds, who was recently sentenced to time in jail, was told Monday to show up at one police plaza Thursday so the NYPD could begin its disciplinary case against him, which almost certainly would have resulted in his firing, police sources says. Instead, the NYPD said Reynolds, who has been on modified duty, resigned. He will not get his pension or health benefits. He also cannot carry a gun. His actions are wholly inconsistent with the values and standards the the New York City Police Department expects and demands of his officers, said Acting Deputy Commissioner Deborah Kay, the NYPD's top spokesperson. The NYPD did not say why it waited nearly a month to tell Reynolds, 26, to report to police headquarters. He pleaded no contest on December 3rd to assault and trespassing charges and was sentenced to 15 days in jail. The sentence is not due to start until next month. On Wednesday, with more than 10,000 people have signed an online petition demanding Reynolds be fired, public advocate Jermaine Williams and advocates protested outside one police plaza demanded the same. Reynolds, who said he has no memory of that night aside from identifying himself as a cop to Nashville police, apologizing at his sentencing. Quote, "I'm sorry," the 5-year veteran testified. "That day I made a mistake. I consumed too much alcohol." Reynolds, on vacation for a bachelor party, was caught on video in the July 9, 2018 incident, breaking into a victim's home at around 2:30 a.m. and calling the woman, Connice Halliburton, and her family fucking N-word, according to various media accounts and court documents. "I'll break every bone in your neck," he yelled at one point before running back to his Airbnb rental. He later said he entered the Halliburton's home after mistaking it, guess what, guys? After mistaking it for his rental, according to reports. But Halliburton and his neighbors testified Reynolds and others were laughing, saying they had immunity because of their jobs, reports said. Halliburton, at the sentencing, testified the incident had scarred her 4 sons, who at the time ranged in age from 8 to 20. "My kid wants to move," she said. "They don't want to be in that house anymore." Reynolds says he was partying that night with 6 other men, including 2 police officers. One of those officers is with the NYPD. Kay says she could not discuss the duty status of that officer, citing Section 50 of a state's civil rights laws, which the department says prohibits discussing officers' disciplinary issues. And that is the end of the article. You know, ladies and gentlemen, I'm so glad but it took public pressure. It took civil rights activists to finally get this man to resign or force him to resign. Now, here in Nashville, Tennessee, ladies and gentlemen, the judge that give this man the slap of the wrist, I think it's time for him to do the right thing. I mean, and just to put him in jail, for breaking and entering. He shouldn't even be out in the first place because he was a cop. Obviously, ladies and gentlemen, I'm glad that happened, but I think there's going to be more things to be done. I hope that now, since he's fired, that the Nashville Police Department here need to have an extradition him back to Nashville to face crimes of breaking and entering. Because to me, just because you're a former cop doesn't necessarily mean you're above the law. And that's exactly what happened in this case. So Tamika Mallory, who is one of the advocates, and she's spoken along with other demonstrators yesterday in New York City, demanded this man to be fired along or to be forced to resign, one of the two. And it worked. So I'm giving a shout out to Tamika Mallory, who was and remember Tamika Mallory, she is also part of the Al Sharpton's National Action Network group. But shout outs to her for doing what she's doing, and the others that's with her that said that this cop need to be fired for what happened here in Nashville, Tennessee. And we as LDOSers need to come out and really have a conversation with the judge who give this man the slap of the wrist. In the first place, he shouldn't even give him the slap of the wrist, give him 10 days in jail and plus 3 years of probation. That shouldn't even happen. Just because you're an off-duty police officer doesn't mean you are above the law. Y'all let me know what you think about this. If you just join us on YouTube, breaking news, 26-year-old Michael Reynolds, who was an off-duty NYPD officer who was accused of breaking in a black family's home, has now been forced to resign by the NYPD today. Leave a comment. Tell me what you think. Like, click, subscribe, and remember to click the notification bell for all the news and commentary. With that being said, this is Lions Den signing off. Deuces.